So now the news is circulating among all of your OU media brethren. News I had informed you about on Friday, told you about yesterday. Jadon Haselwood has torn his anterior cruciate ligament in his knee, which is the universe's way of saying it can still reach out and touch your favorite college football team, even when we don't have spring football. Because that's the part about spring football that always sucks, is you usually end up hearing about somebody who got hurt that had no business getting hurt, because it's like, why wouldn't you just put that person in bubble wrap? Spring football means nothing. Jadon Haselwood was certainly one of those candidates for the bubble wrap. But in this time when not only do we not have spring football, but we have players that are left to their own wits to try to stay in shape, you can imagine how this would happen, because gyms are closed, at least until Friday in this state, reopen in Georgia. Being able to work out, right, is a luxury right now. I mean, I talked with Owasso strength and conditioning coach Jordan Johnson last week about this very subject, about how he is reviewing upwards of 80 videos a day, just watching kids go through the workouts that they're able to do. Some of them are fortunate enough to have home gyms. Some of them are putting books in their backpacks and doing squats. Some of them are using buckets. Don't know the exact way in which Haselwood tore his ACL, just that he did. You got to believe it's changed direction. I mean, look, I stay on the Twitters as much as y'all stay on the Twitters, and one day I'm just going to delete my Twitter account. But until that day, I'm going to use it to do what I normally do, which is read the news, research, try to say something pithy every now and again, or share something I find valuable. Now, Theo Weiss, who is from the Dallas area, went to Allen High School, can be seen, working out, going through drills, going through cones in his front yard. And I'm watching this going, yo, man, all you got to do is turn the wrong way, and there goes the knee, right? Or we'll watch guys work out with a trainer at a confined location where it's just the trainer being 5 to 7 yards away and the athlete running routes or doing DB drills or doing whatever work. And I'm going, look, I would rather that you didn't, but I understand you want to keep in shape. Now, more than ever, it's looking like Oklahoma in 2021 and not in 2020. As a matter of fact, this was always going to be a bridge year on top of a bridge year, quite honestly, for Oklahoma. They outkicked anything that they were supposed to get in 2019, as far as I'm concerned. You win a Big 12 championship. You make the college football playoff for a third consecutive year with a grad transfer quarterback after losing what is your 1B tailback, who hadn't really got that many touches, and having to ride CeeDee Lamb and Charleston Rambo in the passing game, and a first-year defensive coordinator revamping his scheme, let alone trying to get starters that he really admires and respects in that scheme. 2020 expects to be a better year defensively, but even so, you lost a first-round draft pick, and you lost a third-round draft pick in the interior defense, trying to replace those with guys like Jalen Redmond, LaRon Stokes, but also bolster with junior college transfers at defensive tackle and Perion Winfrey and Josh Ellison. And then hope Marcus Hicks and Marcus Stripling continue to come on, while you hope Trey Brown is able to have a breakout year as perhaps the best defensive back in the Big 12. On the other side, you got a new starter. Okay? For those of y'all in the 2% that believe that it's Tanner Mordecai's job, I pray for you and I wish you well. The rest of us are going to go over and check on Spencer and make sure that dude basically is just kind of sitting still on the couch. Okay? Because as much as I'm all here for a Spencer Rattler overtime highlight video of him chucking a football 73 yards or throwing behind the back passes, if he breaks an arm, everybody's in trouble. Okay? But next year, you would have a year of whoever the starter is, let's say it's Rattler, of experience, and Haselwood would be coming back for a draft eligible year, along with the likes of Theo Weiss. And Trajan Bridges will have worked through this suspension. And Ramondre Stevenson, who is probably going to be not just eligible, but perhaps go into the NFL draft, certainly seems like the kind of guy that you would love to have back at a year when you need depth at your running back group. Because right now you're talking about losing Kennedy Brooks, but you'd be able to replace that with perhaps TJ Pledger if he doesn't end up in the portal or something else. Stevenson, Marcus Major, Seth McGowan, and whomever you can get in his 21 class. Right now, it's looking like Kamar Wheaton or LJ Johnson could be those dudes that you're most likely going to go after, but it's all fluid on that 2020 scale. Also add in there, now Brian Darby, Trayvon West, Marvin Mims, all those dudes are on the clock. Mims more than any one of the 2020 dudes. One, because he was an early enrollee. And two, because he's the national single season record holder for receiving yards in a season. Okay? Same thing with Texas career receiving yards in high school, coming out of Lone Star Frisco. You're also looking at perhaps Drake Stoops on scholarship next year. So I'm not going to say that Oklahoma couldn't make the college football playoff. And until they lose the Big 12 championship, you're betting against them, right? Because in this conference, hell, everybody wants Oklahoma State to challenge, but they want Texas to challenge last year, and it ends up being Baylor. Didn't really matter. Oklahoma doubled them up. Came back to 25 down. Still got the W. And then their head coach bolts to North Carolina, which is also the reason I think a lot of teams have a hard time in this conference. I mean, turnover and stability don't usually go hand in hand, right? You usually see turnover at a low major where a coach was very successful. And at a high major, sometimes those dudes actually do want to go coach somewhere else. Sometimes they do get run out of town. Being able to hold on to Nick Saban or Dabo Swinney or even Ed Orgeron, who seems to be of the mud down there, is not a given. And the fact that OU has been able to hold on to Lincoln Riley for basically 5 years, with 3 of them seeing him as head coach, is not anything to sneeze at. And I think that's another reason why anything that Baylor was building, they're going to have to rebuild again, because now they got a new head coach, new offensive coordinator, new defensive scheme, all those things. Chris Klieman at Kansas State has an opportunity to be really great, because I don't think that he wants to take another job anytime, anywhere, soon. And there's that. Tom Herman might be on his last legs, because if he goes 8-4 this year, they're going to kick him out. That's just the long and the short of it. They have absolutely no room for error down in Austin. Gary Patterson is always a quarterback away, but that's kind of the story. He's always a quarterback away, right? I mean, the defense continues to play great football, and even in a down year, he put 5 guys into the NFL draft, right? Nobody expects Iowa State to compete, except people are going, when are they going to get over the hump? And I'm going, well, the hump is Oklahoma. And they seem to have got over them in 2017 and damn near got close last year. But you keep taking L's to teams that, quite frankly, OU doesn't take L's to when you try to win more games than OU does. That's the game right now. And you continue to look around at this 10-team league and West Virginia just kind of over there by itself. And you're going, man, do we still got to count them? They don't add anything. At least Kansas provides an easy away game. You drive 3 hours in one direction, you arrive in Lawrence, you go beat their butts, and then you go home. You got to take a plane out to Morgantown. And even then, you're not going to take a plane to Morgantown. You're taking a plane to Pittsburgh. And then you're driving 2.5 hours to Morgantown. It just doesn't make a whole hell of a lot of sense, man. But all of that to say, Oklahoma can come back from a Jadon Haselwood season-ending injury. But it can't come back from another season-ending injury. Right? Because you lose Kennedy Brooks, or you lose Theo Weiss, or you lose Charleston Rambo. I'm not saying pack it in, but you can't expect that team to go and win 12 games. Just ain't going to happen. Like, lose Deshaun White. Good luck. You might be able to do those things with, say, your defensive tackles, because all of a sudden they look deeper than they have looked in some time. You might be able to get away with that at corner, but I'm not so sure, because it seems that Alex Grinch wants to take Oklahoma's best corners and make them safeties. Buki's never going to get an opportunity to play his best position, which is corner. Woody Washington came in as the number 1 corner in his class and the number 1 player in the state of Tennessee at cornerback. He's a cover corner. Why the hell was he in there playing free safety against the best wide receiving group that he will ever see at LSU? Beats me. Justin Broyles was a cornerback, and he has been allowed to play anything but. They moved Jordan Parker back over, but it didn't seem to help that much. He goes into the portal. I continue to look around and I go, some of these guys are just playing out of position and perhaps recruit safeties to play safety. Bryson Washington's a safety. Jamal Morris apparently is going to play some linebacker now, along with Robert Barnes, who's a safety. Then again, we haven't seen Robert Barnes' body since it was ran over by the Mack truck that is Josh Jacobs in the Orange Bowl. As much as I want to be able to point to Jadon Haselwood and say, there's your Heisman candidate, there's your Biletnikoff Award winner, there's your future pro, it's always going to take more than him. And you'd rather have him than not. That's not the point. The point is, you got other things you got to take care of. And for once, maybe Lincoln Riley might actually have to do this thing in a different way. Maybe it goes back to being something like hand the ball to Kennedy Brooks 25 times a game. I doubt it. But that's also going to depend on what you look like at wide receiver. And what you look like at wide receiver right now is green. Super green. Ruby green, as in the fifth element green. You ain't got players, dog. You got one dude returning with 43 catches last year, and then the dude that had 19 is no longer available to you. So Theo Weiss, time to get up, because Trajan Bridges can't help you for 5 games. And then you're talking about Drake Stoops, Austin Stogner. Okay, show me. Because that's what we're looking at right now. That's what the conversation is going to be. The conversation is going to be Oklahoma has showed us nothing. Lots of talent, lots of potential, but potential is a very, very dangerous word.